Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going microscopic. We're going to dive deep into the one thing that connects every single living creature on Earth, the humble cell. So let's start with a really big question. Maybe the biggest question in biology. From the tiniest little microbe to the biggest blue whale, what's the one thing, the one fundamental building block they all share?
Okay, so think of it like this. A house is built from individual bricks, right? Well, all of life is built from cells. But here's the amazing part. Unlike a simple, non-living brick, every single one of these cells is a masterpiece of living machinery.
All right, so let's dig in. Where did this whole idea of a fundamental brick of life even come from?
It all started way back in 1665. A guy named Robert Hooke was looking at a thin slice of cork under a microscope, and he saw all these tiny, empty boxes. He called them cells. But what's really wild is that for the next 150 years, that's pretty much all we knew. It took way, way better microscopes for us to finally peek inside and discover the incredible, bustling world that was hiding in there all along.
And this is the crucial point to remember. While cells are the basic structure, like bricks, they are so much more. Each cell is alive. It's less like a brick and more like a tiny, self-contained city, just humming with activity.
And these living bricks don't just come in one standard model. Oh no, they come in an absolutely staggering variety of numbers, shapes, and sizes. It's incredible.
You've got unicellular organisms, like an amoeba. That's a whole life, a complete living thing packed into just one single cell. It does everything, eating, moving, reproducing, all by itself. And then you've got us. We're multicellular, made of trillions of cells working together. And the most mind-blowing part, every single one of us started out as just one fertilized egg cell. One.
Now, some cells are total shapeshifters. An amoeba is a perfect example. It's constantly changing its shape, pushing out these little false feet to crawl around and gobble up food. And get this, we have these shapeshifters inside us too. Our white blood cells do the exact same thing, squirming through our body to hunt down germs.
But in more complex life forms, this is where things get really elegant. A cell's shape is almost always linked to its job. It's the ultimate example of form-following function. Take a nerve cell. It's long and has all these branches, which is the perfect shape for zapping messages all over your body.
Okay, so this brings up a really common question, one you might have wondered about yourself. An elephant is obviously way, way bigger than a rat. So, does that mean its cells are just bigger too? What do you think?
The answer, maybe surprisingly, is no. It's a classic misconception. An animal's size isn't about having bigger cells. It's about having more cells. A nerve cell needs to be long to do its job, whether it's in a rat or an elephant. The elephant just has trillions and trillions more cells making up its body. Most cells are microscopic, right? You need special equipment to see them. But there are some stunning exceptions. What does this number represent? 170 millimeters. That is the size of the largest single cell known to exist, an ostrich egg. You can hold it in your hand. That's one cell. No microscope needed. Wow.
All right, so we've seen the incredible variety on the outside. Now let's take a quick tour of what's going on inside a typical cell.
So, pretty much every cell has three main parts. First up, you've got the cell membrane. Think of it like a bouncer or a gatekeeper, deciding what gets in and what gets kicked out. Then inside, there's the cytoplasm. It's this jelly-like stuff, and it's basically the workshop, the factory floor where all the cell's business gets done. And at the very heart of it all, you'll find the nucleus, the control center, the boss.
The nucleus isn't just the control center. It's the vault. It contains the blueprint for the entire organism. Inside, you'll find these thread-like things called chromosomes, and they carry genes. And those genes are the units of inheritance that get passed down from parent to child, deciding everything from your hair color to how tall you are.
Okay, so we've got the general layout down. Now let's look at the two major models for complex life on this planet, the plant cell and the animal cell.
There are three key differences to remember here. First, plant cells have a rigid outer cell wall. It gives them protection and structure. It's literally what helps a plant stand up straight. They also have things called plastids, and the most famous ones are the green chloroplasts that let them make their own food from sunlight. And finally, you'll usually see one big central vacuole in a plant cell, while animal cells tend to have a bunch of smaller ones.
And to really understand how dynamic this world of cells is, you don't have to look any further than your own body. Just think about this for a second. The average adult is carrying around 2 kilograms, that's almost 4.5 pounds, of dead skin. Billions of tiny fragments of you are shed every single day. It's all part of this constant, incredible cycle of renewal happening right now.
So when you step back, it's clear the cell is so much more than a simple brick. It's a shapeshifter, a factory, a blueprint for life itself, scaling from a single lonely amoeba to the trillions of cells that make up an elephant. It proves that all of life's incredible, breathtaking diversity springs from this one tiny unit. And that leaves us with a final, tantalizing question. If all this comes from these tiny structures, what secrets are they still hiding?